Welcome to the Gathering Online, First Monday's edition, full moon in Virgo, Pisces season. Wanted to make sure I got on and connected to people who often connect with me when it comes to what the people are doing, what the collective is doing, what our community is doing. And so I really wanted to talk to us just about three simple things: miracles, methods, and magic. Um, Before that process of the gathering, really, and just some backstory on what the gathering is wherever the people are. If you resonate with any of the things that I speak about or my community speaks about, then you are part of the people. It's us. That's something that I say often is the people, it's us, and use a lot of language that is connective to each other to allow us to come into community. We are the church, the body. We are the community. We are a city. We're a county. We're a country, right? We're so many different things. We're a culture. And we're very diverse. But one thing about us is um, we are aware of each other and we're aware of different things. So that is the gathering. The gathering is where we are. The gathering could be here online. The gathering can be in a movie theater. The gathering could be in a brick and mortar building. The gathering could be in a field. Gathering could be around a table. The gathering can be in a event space and an experience. So wherever we are, when we would gather, that is um, an intentional time, and with intention comes the ability to create. And so, one of the things that I like to create in the gathering is a safe space for everyone to experience a connection, both internally, externally, and upward. And that is our higher self, God, that is spirit, that is supreme source, that is um, our ancestors' understanding of what it meant to connect with the all. And so that is my intention and why I've started the gathering and the gathering online more specifically and in your neighborhood as some of the events that we've gone to. So, again, that is the overview. One of the things I also like to do is also set the intentions for this actually speech or speaking to you and speaking to us. And that intention is um, to make sure that we are speaking the same language when it comes to certain different things. And one of the things that I want to make sure we're speaking the language of is the formula. The formula, our prayers, our spells, whatever you want to call it. We're all kind of speaking the same language, but I want to just remind us of some of the foundations to the things that we do when it comes to our intentions, spirit realm, what we're trying to achieve here as we bring in and bring forth the things that we want to see in our lifetime, in our kids' lifetime. So, miracles, methods, and magic. I'll begin. The first thing that I like to do is breathe, relax, and then speak some words over our attention. One of the things about um, what I like to do when I enter into that space is enter in confidence. There's some people that like to enter in a state of reverence. So there's closed eyes, bowed head. It's one thing I really like to do is stand in my power when I declare, when I speak. And so you'll see me oftentimes just look up. You'll see me sometimes full chest, broad shoulders, and just in confidence as I'm dealing with the energetic space of words and the energetic space of intention, the energetic space of thought or mentality. And so breathing is very important. I know we think about breath as one of the things that if we don't have for a little bit, we will cease to exist. And breath is one of the, the the things that the purer it is air in our breath and our the stronger it is that reflects back to ourselves. So the better we can breathe, the higher quality our energy is. The purer the air we breathe, the better everything is about us. And obviously, you can follow that cord with water and food. The cleaner, the purer, the healthier, the stronger it is. So are we. And so, breath is easy. I like to do 1, 2, 3. Some people do 1, 2, 3, hold, um, and do different things. And I'll just do some breaths, then I'll speak, and then I'll go straight in. I don't want to hold your time. Mm, that feels good. So my intention, specifically for this, is to connect the people. So I ask in this time that anybody who is under the sound of my voice, who hears this, who even looks at this, any message, be it on YouTube, be it on Instagram, being on a friend's phone, be it on TikTok, whatever words that you hear. That is for you, that you keep it. Whatever words that I speak also is true to me, and is not something that is fabricated or mentioned or spoken for anything outside of the greater good for the collective, for the people. I ask that the things that I say will be shared, not just physically, but esoterically, energetically, so that we can continue to combine our strengths in both fields, the physical and the metaphysical, the here and the everywhere, the ether. And so we ask these things really in the fullness and the confidence that we are all connected, that we are all one, and the divisions that are in front of us are just that, things set to divide us. And the more we know who we are and why we are, the easier it is for us to move forward. So the reason why I said this message is miracles, methods, and magic is because I am very, very keen on the fact that um, a lot of people aren't talking amongst each other about the formula, the work, the understanding it takes to create what we want. We talk about all the different laws, we talk about spiritual discipline practice or religion discipline practice like yoga, like prayer, supplication, even the practice of giving offerings or tithes, even showing up in reverence, holding space, having altars, all the different things that we talk about, but a lot of times the actual daily, day in and day out things we may miss. And I think that sometimes it's because we all have different practices and different ideologies and beliefs on what that looks like. So, miracles, methods, and magic is my attempt to bring us together on a foundation. It's one of the things that I would love to speak about in my individual communities and people, and I would like to just share this with the greater good. All of us can relate to one of these things, miracle, a method, or magic. Be you a engineer in space and defense, oil and gas, or tech, or you're an eighth grader. You understand what a miracle is. You may understand what the method is, and you have an understanding of what people may call magic. I call these mediums. The mediums are um, prayer, right? So usually, in when we talk about miracles, prayer is usually the way or the conduit of a miracle. We talk about formulas. Formulas is really how methods are created. There's a formula, and it creates a method, and then all of a sudden you have movements out of there. And then magic, we know the ways that magic moves is spells. So you may find yourself believing one or more different things. If you are a engineer that goes to church, you may believe in both formulas and prayer. If you are a wise woman that also is an engineer, you may believe in spells and formulas. And some of you unique people may believe in all three of these things and have dibble and dabbled in it. None of it is taboo. It is just semantics or words or engagements and beliefs. And so I would like to go into detail about what that looks like. So, prayer, one of the things about prayer is some people call it supplication, some people call it declaration. There's many different stances of prayer. Um, and one of the challenges that I like to give to people who pray is to ask yourself three questions. Who are you praying to? How and why are you praying? And what are you praying for? And the one thing I talk about prayer is knowing that your prayers can be answered, right? Um, if you don't know your prayers can be answered, then the prayer doesn't have the strength that you may believe it could have. And so, always checking who you're praying to, and knowing that the source of the prayers or the declarations or the supplications will be revealed to you, and that may be through faith, that may be through understanding, that may be because someone told you, but also always know what you know that you know. And if there is a reason for you to update, switch, hold space so that you can get that, I would do such a thing. For those of you who know who you're praying to and know that you have a relationship of positivity with that declaration and supplications, keep going. But also just always double check that if it is the most supreme source, the most direct source, the most powerful energetic source, the source that loves you, knows you, and wants you to succeed. How and why are you praying? Always with a pure heart, clean slate, understanding for the greater good. When you're doing the opposite, that is not prayer, obviously. And so just remember that how and why you're praying is one of the most important things in the prayer outside of who you're praying to. It is the energy force, it is the driving force, it is the fuel behind those prayers so that they can be answered. And again, I usually like to use the word declare, proclaim, is those strong things versus some things like begging or asking or hoping. Whenever you enter into the spirit realm, it is best to go at the highest level, and the highest level usually is with assurance and confidence. And then what are you praying for? There's some things that I believe that are not needed to be prayed for. Some things that are already yours, that is always for you. And so that would be just to um, open the understanding that it's there already. There's some things that I believe that God may be already asking you to show up for it. And so the prayer or supplication or declaration may not be necessary. It may just be a time of just understanding where you are. And so some of the times I believe that I ask and challenge people to ask, what are you praying for? And there's some great things out there to pray for. Sometimes for you specifically, it may be a need to look into that. As far as formulas, I speak this. I speak this to all of my technical professional friends who love formulas that will edit and update the process. I love the idea of a formula. One of my challenges to people who are interested in formulas and believe in formulas through due diligence, through discipline, through proven ways is who created the formula? Is it a formula that was created years ago, centuries ago? Is a formula created by people that don't look like you or have your interest in mind? Is it formulas from people from a different industry, from a different company, from a different culture? And I always just challenge my friends that love formulas is to look at the origin of the formula, and then next to ask how and why was the formula created. Whenever we are using formulas, there's an energy behind formulas, as we all know, and there could be bias in creating formulas. So always to look how and why the formula was created. What that does is give us the energy, right? The oomph, the gusto behind if a formula is going to succeed in our favor, or is it meant to do something else? And then finally, what is the formula for? Similar to what are you praying for? Like, what is a formula for? There are some formulas that are meant for X. There are some formulas meant for Y. And so not all formulas are going to transition or transmute into what we would hope the outcome would be. Even though it may seem similar, it's not necessarily always going to be in our favor. So always challenging that. To my wise people, spells. Same thing. Spells are words. Words. We have spelling. We have spelling bees, right? So there's a lot of spelling in what we do. So spells. I ask the question from who and where did the spell originate from? Very similar to the formula. All right. Did it come from you? Did it come from a guru? Did it come from a shaman? Did it come from a wise person? Did it come from a teacher? Always asking where did it come from and who they are. Um, One of the biggest things, and you will see this also in the engineering world and also the prayer world, is what is the energy exchange of a spell. Right? Anytime there is a energetic connection with putting a spell or asking for something, which is prayer, or um, demanding that a machine does X output, there is an energy exchange. There needs to be a battery. There needs to be a certain level of fuel or whatever. So, what is the energy exchange of a spell? And there's always a price to pay. There's always alchemy or transportation involved. So, just telling you what is the energy exchange of expel. And one of the biggest things that I challenge, and especially all of these areas, prayer, formulas, and of course, spell is there a simpler or more pure spell? Is there something very simple? I grew up in the Kojic church, and sometimes we would have very simple mantras when we go in there. It would be very simple, thank you. And sometimes it would be as simple as yes, yes, and that's all we would sing, like, and that would conjure up a spirit of yes, or a spirit of thankfulness, gratefulness. And so I always ask, whenever you were doing the magic work, and whenever we're doing the formulaic work, whenever we're having our prayer time, is to ask, what is the most purest, simplest way to get there? Um, and what can we do with all of this, right? What can we do with all of this? Why? Or what's the point of having this information? Me having this conversation um, with you, and it's really is because a lot of us are in transitional places. A lot of us are in places that we want to see something come to fruition, come to life. We want our lives to change. We want somebody else's lives to change. We want to move forward in something. We want to advance, ascend. And so I mention these things is because we have the ability to do that. We have the ability to do that in our actual daily lives, and there's not a reason for us to sit and wait around for it. We are capable of creating what we need. We are co-creators with spirit, with God, with the universe. We are allowed to move into the spirit realm. We're allowed to energetically do some things in this space that we not may always be aware of or encouraged to do. And so, if you are someone that believes in prayer, if you're someone that believes in formulas, if you're someone that believes in spells, if you're someone who believes in miracles, you're someone who believes in methods, or you're someone who believes in magic, you have the ability to create your reality. Whatever you name the topic, there may be obviously an energy exchange. There may be a need to purify the formula. There may be a need to declare in confidence or supplicate in a different way. Um, and so those are the things that I talk about in our communities, to things we talk about in the gathering, to things we talk about within the culture, is how do we create what we need to create? And all of this, I say it's very, very simple sometimes when we're trying to figure out what do we need to do. The first thing I say is we need to listen. Um, Whenever we're up against something, we listen. The second thing would be to act. Sometimes spirit, God, the universe, nature is asking us to act. Our ancestors are asking us to act. They've done this. It's our time to do this. They've paved the way here, so it's our time to do this. They allowed us to sit on their shoulders from this thing, so that now we get to raise up to here. And so those are the times that we act. And then sometimes it's just a matter of just waiting. We've already listened, we've already acted, and it may be just time to wait. And in the waiting, there is that confidence that what we are waiting for will happen and is assured. Um, so, again, just allowing us to know that what we want, what we desire, what we believe is for us is definitely available. When I look at this, the medium, the details, the formulas, when I look at miracles, methods, and magic, when I look at prayers, formulas, and spells, when I look at if we need to listen, act, or wait, um, the reality of that, right? The movement part of it is that we may be asked to return to something. A lot of us may be asked to return to our magic. A lot of us may be asked to return to our God. A lot of us may be asked to return to love. A lot of us may be asked to return to ourselves. A lot of us may be asked to return to peace, return to our family, return to nature, return home. There's a lot of things that we may be asked to return to whenever we do these things, whenever we lean into prayer, whenever we lean into formulas, whenever we lean into spells. That is the beauty of waiting for a miracle or waiting for a finished method or waiting for magic is there may be a return. It's very cyclical in the hero's journey. If you are interested in that, is there's usually always a return, something that has sustained us, provided for us, something that is really calling us back. Um, some of you guys, magic is definitely calling you back, right? Some of you guys, God is definitely calling you back, and some of you guys, the drawing board is calling you back. That's very important. There are a lot of us out there that need to wait. Something may asking us to wait. Waiting is not always the funnest thing. That's why I say loving ourselves, being comfortable with ourselves and our community is very important. Being happy in our state, wherever we are in our reality, is very important because there's a lot of times we have to wait. One of the formulas that I really love is the fact that it takes time for the physical world to catch up to us, right? Once we put something in the ether, once mind starts, right? Once the words happen, once the spells are created, it takes a time for the physical world to manifest, for things to happen around us. So waiting isn't always a bad thing. Waiting is just usually sometimes for things to catch up to where we are. And so for you guys out there, you've done the work, you've been doing your healing, you've been applying for your jobs, you've wrote down the formula on the drawing board, you've connected with family, you've apologized, you've returned to love, you're free now, and there just may be some time for you to wait to what's coming up for you. And so stay inward, stay with God, and things will be coming. And then a few of us are in transition seasons. I love seasons. I love the seasons of the year. I love the zodiac seasons. I love solstice seasons. I love equinox seasons. I love sometimes sports seasons, depending on how the home team is doing. I love rodeo season. I love crawfish season, even though I'm plant based right now, but I'm gonna get there again. I love fall season. Seasons really are indicative of a change in the air, right? Something new. Even in the winter season, when things die, there's still crisp freshness there. Slowness, something that slows us down to be able to move into something new, to reorganize, to regenerate. Seasons are very important. So some of us are in these transitional seasons and asked to potentially move on to something. So we may not just be waiting, we may be needing to move towards something. Something may be calling us toward it, something may be calling us forward. And for those of you people, I say act is definitely the go getter for you. Go ahead and act on that. And trust the prayers that you've done, trust the formulas that you've laid out, and trust the spells that you maybe have incantated for your way. So, what happens? What happens when the miracles, the methods, the magics are part of our lives? What happens when prayers, formula, and spells are a part of our daily routine or our actual practices? What happens when we've perfected our prayers, who we're praying to, how and why are we praying, what are we praying for? What happens when our formulas are right, when we know who created the formula, who and why, and how the formula was created, and we also know what the formula is for. And what about our spells? Whenever we know from who and where did the spells come from, and what's the energy exchange involved with the spells, and if there's a simple, more pure spell, what then now? And this is the close or the outcome. Um, Blessings is number one, right? We know from those who are interested in miracles that blessings are what come from miracles, right? Why else would we want a miracle if not to be blessed? Either us or our people to be blessed. And so, for you out there that have perfected your prayers, who and understand what you're doing and are waiting for your miracle, obviously it's time for your blessing, right? For your blessing. And then you find folks that love methods and formulas. What is the outcome for you, right? And that's solutions, very simple solutions. A lot of us we're looking for things to be solved, right? For that issue, for that problem. And a solution is for us. A solution is waiting for us. We may need to act. We maybe need to listen, and some of us, again, some of us may just need to be waiting for that solution, but it's here, it's for us, and this is the season for that. And then my magic folk who believe in spells, what is it in? What is was in it for you? And that's phenomena, right? That's the phenomena. That's the bing, zing, bling of magic, is that it creates a natural phenomena. And if you're smart, or if you're simple, you don't have to be smart. I'm very simple, and I like to keep it very simple. Um, you understand that blessings, solutions, and phenomena are really connected, and you would know that miracles, methods, and magic are also very connected. So then you would understand that prayers, formulas, and spells are very connected. And so that's us too, right? We're connected. We're connected. So everything that we're trying to do here, everything that we're trying to do in this season and in this manifestation of being here on this earth, is to move forward, to get these miracles, to get these methods, right, to get these magic. And so, one reason why I have this banner behind me is because there's some energies out there that allow for things to happen for us and for the people, and there's some energy out there that doesn't allow this to happen. And go where this is, go where love is, go where there's positivity is. If you get stuck in any of these, if you get stuck in a formula that can't work, if you get stuck in a spell that isn't creating the outcome that you want, if your prayers aren't really reaching to the level that you would like it to, find this, find love within, find love from without, find safety, find safe spaces, and then usually you'll get there. So thank you so very much for spending time with me. Again, I like to make this very simple and good for us, so that we can take pieces from it and use it. Whatever you don't like, whatever's not for you, just discard it. No need to have a negative response to it. It's just not for you. It could be for someone else. And so keep positivity on the things that are shared with your community, and let's begin to move in a different way together. Let's begin to unite around things. Let's speak in love. If it's in a comment section on a social media page, or if it's if you're in the office, if it's at the water cooler in the office, or in our group chats, let's just make sure we move with an intention that keeps us at a high level. That's going to affect everything, right? That's going to affect what we read, what we watch, what we listen to. That's going to affect how we gather. That's going to affect how we relate to one another, and that's going to breed more life and abundant life. And Yeah, we need that. We need more life and life abundant. So I say all these things for us to unite and move forward, because it is us. We are the people. We are the chosen ones. And regardless if you believe that or not, it is for you. And our hearts are open, and are opening more and more for us to use the energy that is esoterically and biologically within us to move forward in this existence. Alrighty, Direct James. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. The Gathering Online is going to continue. The Gathering near you is also going to continue with event spaces. Shout out to my bros from This Beautiful Shirt, who inspired me and encouraged me to get in front and speak. Being Outspoken Being, Marlon Hall, the likes, and also all my other friends out there that are doing stuff like Nat Bar, like Bloom Foods, like Yogi Jazz Porter, all my professional people out there, my lawyers out there doing their thing, my trademark lawyer, Also, a hometown high school classmate running for mayor, Amanda Edwards, and just so many cool things that are happening where I'm from here in Houston, and I know also collectively across the U.S. and the globe. Shout out to the gathering spots that I just connected with in the connected city. Just so many cool things that are happening. So just make sure that wherever you are, that you find a community. If it's a yoga community, if it's a church, if it's a drum circle, um, just make sure you connect, find love, find it here, find it there, and you'll be good. Check out my playlists online. Check out my other videos. Let's do this. I encourage you to keep going. Share this. Drop a note if you want to talk about anything, and I'll holla. Peace.